Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again for another Market Watch investments video for you guys tonight. Going to be covering a plethora of stuff. Pre-warning, this is going to be strictly, for the most part, like 99% of this is going to be for collector's value, collector's market, collector's market, collector's market, all the way through. These are going to be my personal selections that I'm going to be showcasing for you guys tonight, and I do hope that you enjoy. So getting things kickstarted tonight is going to be Magician's Force, very nostalgic, Gen 1, amazing, part of the original 13 core booster sets here in Yu-Gi-Oh! Really great stuff. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about in this set in particularly, but there's just, I have several tabs here. I've been trying to cut down my videos. I know they're pretty lengthy, so I'm just going to go ahead and kind of dip into the onesie twosies here. So, of course, Dark Magician Girl, if you guys are into the censored artwork version, this is a secret. This is, really good money. Breaker's really awesome. Dark Paladin, there's two different artworks. The first edition artwork was different. That was one thing that was unique about the set that was really cool. The original ultra rare versions of Dark Paladin, the first edition was different from the Unlimited, so those are good money. Drive Infecting Virus, Chaos Command, and I'm just going to quickly do a flash review just kind of the set because I'm going to go into the specifics later on the other tabs. Drive Infecting Virus, one of my all-time favorite super rares, really great artwork. Amazon Swordswoman, of course. Lush Dragon is going for some pretty good money right now. Skilled Dark Magician, Skilled White Magician, Spell Canceller. Double Spell has really cool artwork. There's not that many printings of this, and this is, first editions are actually kind of in a reasonable price point here. There is also a lot of really cool old school commons in this set that I would definitely take note of. Stuff like Giant Orc and Giant Orc, Magical Merchant. Of course, there is one of the old school, I think it's Champion Pack or Tournament Pack or something, supers, as well as Wave Motion Cannon, which came as a reprint Ultra, but also an old school super rare as well, which is very valuable and valuable and high rarity Royal Magical Library, one of the greatest all-time old school standalone draw cards. Really, really great for Floodgate monster stuff. And moving on here, we have Thunder of Ruler, and which is just kind of basically a knockoff of Waboku. Same with Threatening Roar. Giant Orc here, Magical Scientist. There is a Dark Revelation rare, which is the highest rarity to this print. This still has not seen the light of day from the ban list, so I would actually prefer, normally don't go for Dark Rev stuff, but seeing how it is higher rarity than even the first edition Magician's Force, I would not discontinue or disregard the first edition common prints, but just be aware that there is a rare high rarity reprint from Dark Revs as a rare. So that's pretty much all I wanted to show really quick. So I'm going to go into the specifics here. So Spell Canceller, this is the original ultra rares from, of course, the infamous Magician's Force here. You're going to want to go for first edition specifically, as the majority of this material content is going to be for collector's market, and that's kind of just a general rule of thumb. Again, don't overpay. You guys just, make sure you invest within your means and just don't overpay for first edition, but it's highly recommended that you guys go for first edition prints. As you can see, Unlimited are not really worth much of anything. This did have a secret or a reprint, which I'm going to get into in a moment, from Speed Duels, and the first original print here for first edition lightly played is going to be around 8 bones plus. And again, same price here for the second one. Let's go ahead and see if we can find you guys a near mint first edition, which is going to be around 10 bones. So surprisingly enough, the first edition that I played compared to the near mint first editions is really only about a $2 offset. So really, really surprising on that. Moving on to the secret rare version from Speed Duel Battle City. This is such a blowout, amazing set. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first Speed Duel set that donned secret rares, which is really cool. And again, I'm not a big fan of Speed Duels. I don't really know much about it, but the secret rares were just complete blowout in this set. More specifically for Air Knight Pearshaft, I think that is like the best. And they have, like, of course, Breaker and Jinzo and just a lot of really, really great stuff. So I definitely check this set out. And these are going for pretty much 2 bones all across the board, and a little under 2 bones, about a bone and a half before you factor in shipping. Here's a fat sack of 160. So completely up to you. Personally, I would much rather obviously have the original ultra rare first editions. I bag on ultra rare a lot, but I am a very avid fan of original OG Gen 1 first 13 core sets, first edition exclusively ultra rares. Those are definitely an acceptable means. So completely up to you if you want to go for the secrets. I mean, it's obviously higher rarity. Now, keep in mind, it is a Speed Duel card, so it's going to have the Speed Duel stamps. A lot of players that don't play Speed Duels don't like that. They kind of look down on that, but it is a high rarity, so completely up to you. So player preference on that. Next is going to be Tribe Infecting Virus, the original super rare prints from Magician's Force. I love the artwork of this card so much. I'm really big into like water attribute monsters and just water decks in general, and this is an insanely old card. It used to be banned for the longest time. It got lifted off the list, I want to say about maybe about a year and a half ago. It was one of the summer lists that got lifted off. Really cool. And I think this card still pretty holds up. I mean, it's not completely blowout, but again, it's an old school super rare hollow foil, and it's got really awesome artwork, and it has an infamous history of, being on the ban list for so long. Unlimited lightly plays are starting market price around 8 bones. Near mints are about 10 bones. There is no first editions here on the first page. We get our first editions on the second page. The first edition is all the way up to a whopping 24 bones, and that goes for straight first edition near mint. And it pretty much trickles up almost about 30 bones after that, and that's not even this one's not even first edition. But anyway, all you need to know, first edition, 24 bones. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Tribe-infecting virus original prints. Awesome. Next is going to be Luster Dragon. So this has had a very interesting price increase. There is one page here on the market for TCGP. Starting market price for lightly played unlimiteds is 16 bones. And for the first edition, it's actually not that far off, for roughly around 23 bones if you factor in shipping. And then for a near mint first edition, it goes all the way up to about 32 bones, and then it levels out at a whopping 100 bones. So this is almost bought out. Obviously, this being very, very old. The artwork is really, really nice, and again, Magician's Force being part of the original Gen 1 13 core sets. Very, very, very old, but ideally, this is really just trickling up, having exponential growth, just because you can see these are all one stack, except for this 3 and this 2 of, and there's only one page. And again, this is just insanely old. Next is going to be Skill Dark Magician from Magician's Force as a super rare. This is actually going for pretty good money. It doesn't even matter if you have a lightly played unlimited. It's going for 6 bones market price starting. Near mints are going for around 7. And there is 3 pages of availability here on TCGP. The first editions are almost just, a shadow under 12 bones for lightly played first editions, and for a near mint first edition, it's going to be about 18 bones for a near mint first edition. Again, only 3 pages of that, the original super rare prints. Next is going to be Breaker the Magical Warrior. Of course, this was the original print from Magician's Force as an ultra rare. We have 2 alternative secret rare prints. The Master Collection volume, I think it was either 1 or 2, donned the original promo secret, and then of course Speed Duels produced another secret rare, which is roughly going for, I think, around like 5 bones or so now. So good alternative choices on that. But this being the OG print, collector's market, ideally first editions are going to be the most desirable. Starting market price for Unlimiteds alone is 11 bones. So that's an interesting sell point if you guys want to do that. The first edition here is for lightly played is about 37 bones. It's a 3 stack here, and there's 2 pages here on the market. For near mint first edition, it goes all the way up to a whopping 145 bones, then quickly to 150, and then levels out at 150 pretty much all across the board after this first one. So really, really great stuff. Again, I do want to check out really quick. Now, I am much more of a fan of the Master Volume Collection 2 Secret Rare, personally. This was the older Secret Rare. Obviously, Speed Duels, again, they just produced a Speed Duel version Secret Rare, which still looks very, very aesthetically pleasing. Of course, you have the Tournament Pack Super Rare, which is really nice too. But in my personal opinion, there was also a Dark Revs Ultra Rares. I personally don't usually go for Dark Revs. I kind of think it's, low rarity for high dollar, but I do respect and understand that there is a big market out there for Dark Revs. So Dark Revs, Ultra Rare, Tournament Pack 7. There's the Gold Series 8, which is the Gen 1 very first gold. Very, very great. It's going for, starting market price looks around 5 bones, so it's pretty good. But again, this one, out of all of them for affordability prices, I mean, this isn't a very affordable card. This card is an ancient, it's almost as old as the original OG Ultras. But the sheer fact that it's high rarity as Secret Rare and Master Collection Volume 2 is really special to me. This was a really cool product that Konami produced a long, long time ago when I was still a kid. And these are starting up at around about 15 bones, pretty much all across the board. Starting market price for lightly played is 15 bones, and it trickles up to about almost 19 bones for near mints. And there's only 3 pages here available. So this is my personal favorite rarity of Breakers. But there's a lot of amazing rarities, as you could see. Chaos Command Magician is going to be next. The original OG Ultras from Magician's Force. These are pretty good money. I mean, unlimited lightly playeds are about 9-ish, about 9 bones starting market price, and then they go to about 14. Again, these are just for unlimited lightly playeds. Near mints go all the way up to 25 bones. The first edition as a lightly played goes to 30 bones. There's only 2 pages here on the market, and the first near mint first editions go all the way up to 46 bones, and then it levels out at 50 bones, so, or bottoms out at 50 bones. So really good value in this card. Really cool artwork too. Next is going to be Magical Library. So of course we have the OG commons out of MFC Magician's Force here, which is really great. I would definitely, if you guys go for that, definitely go for first editions, but that's kind of rendered somewhat useless in my opinion. Of course, there's the Dark Revs 1 for all those, Dark Revs lovers. I'd personally recommend you guys go, if you guys are going to go for the commons, go for the original OG Magician Force first editions exclusively commons. But OTS Tournament Pack 7 Dawn of Super Rare, this is the highest rarity. It's a hollow foil, and still to this date, with OTS being, actually pretty old actually now, this is the highest rarity, and it's nice. It's super rare hollow foil, looks really good, and this card is still, for what it is relatively cheap in my opinion. It's about 2-ish bones when you factor in shipping pretty much all across the board. There's not really a lot of fat stacks here except for this 5 stack, but there's 5+ pages of availability here, and this is just a really good standalone. I love the artwork. Of course, it's this magical library, and you have, spellcasters with these cloaked hoods and magical orbs and all this really cool stuff, and of course fits the bill for level 4 light spellcaster and all that. Usually spellcasters are dark, but, try to change it up on this one. So really cool stuff. Definitely recommend. I personally invested in this print myself. All right, so next is going to be some stuff from Dark Crisis, and it looks like I closed my tab, so I'm not going to be doing a flash review of the full set. I'm just going to actually go into the kind of more specific cards that I wanted to talk about. Of course, one of the secret rares. Back in the day, we only got 2 secret rares per booster pack, so pulling a secret rare was a really, really big deal. And nowadays, these secret rares are very, very sought after in the collector's market because they are just insanely ancient, and more specifically for the first editions. This being the more popular secret rare, Vampire Lord. This was a very, very infamous card. There's great merit and history behind this card. This card was really hard to get rid of back in the day. The artwork is just complete blowout, and I really mean this. I really do have a deep passion for Generation 1 collector stuff. This, still today, this is like, for me, it's like right up there with Injection Fairy Lily. I love the artwork that much. It looks really, really great. Deep secret rare foiling coils here, very, very predominant. And let's see here, for Near Mint Unlimiteds, surprisingly enough, they are about 11 bones starting market price. There's 4 pages here on the market, and there is no first editions on the first 2 pages. We get our first editions on the third page. Lightly played market price for about 54 bones plus. And if you want a near mint, it's going to go all the way up. Near mint first edition, it's going to go all up to 95 bones. Again, there's that, that trickling margin between the not only unlimited in first edition, but now so even more than ever, the first edition lightly played as opposed to the near mint first edition. So pay attention to the rarities, the conditioning. Conditioning really matters on these old cards. Skill Drain is going to be next. So all across the board, pretty much, even like the commons of this, Skill Drain in general is just worth really, really good money. Of course, this is the original OG print as a rare, dying from Dark Crisis, and this card it's been hit to 1 for the longest time. I'm really, really hoping that Konami lists this and Macrocosmos off the list. Been waiting for a very long time. Some of the most infamous Floodgate trap cards in all of the game. Unlimited starting market price is going to be just almost under about 8 bones, almost 8 bones here. And for near mint, again, about 8 bones. And then there is 5 pages here on the market. Trying to find a first edition for you guys. Looks like the first edition is going to be on the 3rd page for a lightly played version for about 10 bones. If you guys want a near mint first edition, that's going to be a little bit more of a deeper dive. The near mint first editions, the first near mint first edition is going to be about 13.5 bones. So pretty cool stuff. 6 pages available for this card. Really, really great, amazing powerhouse nostalgic card. Next is going to be Exodia Necros. This is the original print ultra rares from Dark Crisis. Really great artwork. Not a really good card back in the day. Even like when this set was like brand new, no one really kind of played this card. But it's Exodia, has amazing artwork, and it's insanely ancient, part of the Gen 1 collection. So really good stuff here. Lightly played unlimited is going to be a starting market price of about 17 bones. If you want a near mint, it goes all the way up to about 20, which surprisingly enough is not really too much of a price differentiation. And then if you want a first edition, you have to go to the last page. Starting market price for a lightly played first edition is about 86 bones. Then it goes to 101 bones. And then the near mint first edition is going all the way up to 200 bones, and then it bottoms out at 350 for a very bolstered, ambitious price point here. There are also, again, I believe it was the Master Collection volumes, either 1 or 2, donned a secret rare promo, which just looks so gorgeous. Personally, I would much rather have this secret rare promo. I'm a big fan of secret rare. I totally get, the original ultra rares are, good money. It looks like even the Dark Rev supers are going for some good money too, but this secret rare, there's something about cards with green in them and the secret rare. They look really, really good, and I'm really into secret rares that have green. Secret rare, the color of green just really reflects very well with the predominance of the secret rare holo foiling. So, and these are going for some pretty good money. Their starting market price is about 20 bones for even lightly playeds. If you want a near mint, it goes all the way up to 45. And there's 2 pages here on the market, so pretty incredible price points for the promo, secret promos. DD Warrior Lair is going to be next as the original super rare from Dark Crisis. I love the artwork on this. Even back playing like Cookie Cutter Chaos, this was a big staple back in the day in Cookie Cutter Chaos format. When I was a kid, used to rock 3 of these, removing any kind of troublesome monsters from play. If you set it and they attack into it, or you crash into it, take some damage, remove a really old, awesome tactic. And this is just amazing artwork. I really, really love the DD archetype, or DD kind of decor in general, but more specifically DD Warrior Lair, because she was the original and one of the originals. And she's got like this like lightsaber looking blade knife, which is pretty cool. And let's see here, so lightly played unlimiteds is going to be roughly around 3 bones before you factor in shipping. Again, I would highly recommend, with the majority of almost everything that I cover on my channel content wise, you guys go and try to invest in the first edition copies. The first edition here on the market is going to be around 12 bones for a lightly played. Then it quickly trickles up after that. Moving on to the 4th page, trying to find some near mint first editions for you guys here. There is the first near mint first edition, which is 21 bones, and it continues to trickle up after that. Only 5 pages of availability. There is also the Hobby League Parallel Ultras, which I have a couple copies of those. They look very, very nice. I like them a lot as well. If you're not going to go for the OG Super Rare First Editions exclusively, Dark Revs produced a Super Rare as well. So again, if you guys are into Dark Revs, but ideally, I think even more so, the Super First look really, really great, very collectible, but the Hobby League 6, I think, are, to a certain extent, probably a little bit more difficult to get, and they just look completely blowout gorgeous. They're really, really nice. There's a Gold Series 2008 version as well, and also a Dual Saga, which, do not disregard Dual Saga either. Dual Saga is still, on its own merit alone, the only set to have that rare lightsaber parallel looking kind of ultra rare rarity. So pretty great stuff on that. Big fan of DT and Dual Saga. And this picture does not do justice. This card just looks so completely gorgeous and amazing in this parallel ultra. It's got like this kind of like block square holo foiling. It looks really, really great. Starting market price here for this version is going to be about 20 bones. And for lightly played, and then near mint start around 22, and there is 2 pages here available. So really, really great stuff. Really fun story behind the upper deck and the whole like changing the card stock and all that too. So Hobby League is really cool. Next is going to be Skull Archfiend of Lightning. So this card really blows. It's not good, but the artwork is really amazing. And again, just being Dark Crisis, very, very old school, Gen 1 nostalgic, really great stuff. And Summon Skull has always been, I've loved Summon Skull. When this artwork, when this card came out, this was like just a really, souped up badass artwork version of Summon Skull in kind of a different form, in effect form. So really cool stuff. Starting market price for this is going to be about 5 bones for near mint unlimiteds. First editions go all the way up to 24 bones for lightly playeds. There's only 2 pages here on the market, and near mint first editions go all the way up to 75 bones. So again, that huge price differentiation between not only first editions and unlimiteds, but first edition lightly played and first edition near mint. So be very, very keen on your grading skills for conditions. Next is going to be Judgment of Anubis. I love this card, more specifically for the artwork. Again, we only got 2 secret rares per pack, per set per set back then, and that was a really big deal getting this. And this card, it's got that Egyptian theme. It's got really, really awesome artwork. Obviously, this is the Egyptian god Anubis. And surprisingly enough, not very often, like every kind of once in a while, I feel like every kind of like 3 or 5 years, someone tries to kind of tech this in, and sometimes it kind of works because it's kind of like a magic jammer, I'm like kind of like somewhat like a magic jammer compiled with a like Ring of Destruction. So really cool stuff on that. And it's a counter trap, and it's a secret rare, and it's got really cool artwork. So in my personal opinion, for all those things that I mentioned, I think it's a great collector's card, well on its way bleeding into the collector's market. Unlimiteds for first editions exclusively, also obviously unlimiteds are not really worth much of anything. There's 5 pages here on the market for TCGP. And let's see if we can find a first edition. The first edition lightly played is going to be about 8 bones. If you want near mint, it goes all the way up to 13. And there is a 3 stack here. So really great stuff on Anubis. Next is going to be Archfiend Soldier. This is the OG print as a rare, Dining on a Dark Crisis. I love the artwork on this. And again, back in the day, this was just a classic cookie cutter Chaos card. It was a level 4 19 beater in dark. So really cool stuff. Really cool kind of card description on this too. And let's see. Again, not really much of anything for non-first editions. The first edition lightly played is roughly around 3 bones. After you factor in shipping, there's 5+ pages here on the market. And it's a little over 3 bones as you continue on. The first near mint first edition is going to be about 4 bones. Then you got to factor in shipping. So there's that really cool, awesome vanilla old school rare card. Next is going to be Legendary Maju Garzette. So this is kind of just a random common from Secrets Eternity that I threw in here. I'm a big Dark World fan, and once in a while, I kind of mess around with different techs, and there was a long time ago I messed around with procking one of these in my Dark Worlds, and it didn't really work out too well, but this thing has really cool artwork. There's only 2 prints, both are common, so obviously personal player preference for me would be to go for the original common prints from Secrets of Eternity. And I don't know, just tell me what you guys think about this card. I mean, it's got really cool artwork. I know it's just a common, and it's just a kind of like a random fiend support card, but I really like it a lot personally, and every once in a while I kind of try to mess around with this card because I like it. And it's insanely cheap. It's like a quarter pretty much all across the board, even for first edition near mints, 5+ pages, so not really a big deal, but I just kind of wanted to give it some love tonight. Next is going to be all of the super rare holos of the Gen 1 starter decks. So Gen 1 starter decks started in 2002 with starter deck Kaiba and Yugi. Each structure deck, then the second wave was Joey and Pegasus. Each structure deck came with 1 ultra rare and 2 super rares. So we're going to start with starter deck Pegasus. One of the super rares was Graceful Charity. Out of all of them, I really like this card a lot. I mean, of course, obviously, Dark Magician and Blue Eyes, the original Artworks Ultras, are just like ungodly expensive and have been for years and years and years in the collector's market and just holding some really fat price points. But out of anything I'm going to continue on here, I think this is a really, really great card, and I'm really happy to see that this card is finally starting to get some love and actually increase in value. One of the most infamous ban cards of all time for draw power, definitely up there with Pot of Greed. Amazing artwork. This is a censorship, of course. There was a halo in the OCG Japanese original artwork. And again, Unlimiteds are not really going to be much of anything. There's a couple bones here. When you get to the first edition here, lightly played, it's about 4 bones, which I think this is a steal. I think anything under 5 bones. Now, granted, a couple years ago, you can get these cards for like $1, $2, and I'm talking about first editions. The stuff was nuts. It was crazy. The White Mexican was copying these up left and right several years ago, and I've just been stockpiling this card because it's not so much that I think White Mexican Theory, I do believe that everything comes off the forbidden ban list. It's just a matter of fact if Konami decides to errata them or not. I'm not saying that this is going to be completely get lifted without being an errata. I'm sure it'll probably come off the list eventually. It'll probably be heavily errated, have some like really crazy capping restrictions, but just being super old and having this amazing artwork and just the history behind this card is really, really infamous, and it has, being that it's an ancient card, Gen 1 card, it has the magic stamp here instead of the spell stamp, which is really cool. So, about 4 bones for lightly played first edition. There's another one here for about 5 after you factor in shipping. There's 5 pages here on the market. And let's see if I can show you guys. But you guys notice that, they're all pretty much one stacks. There's really just very, very limited quantity on this card. I'm trying to find you guys a near mint. Near mint start at about 5 bones. So here's one for 5 bones. So the biggest thing that I want to put emphasis on is these are just like very quickly running out on the market, and I think it's amazing that there is still so many of these first editions available for around the 5 range. I don't think the 5 price range is going to be lasting very long, because this is just a really, really great buy in my personal opinion. Next is going to be the Starter Deck Pegasus Ultra Rare version of Relinquish. Of course, we got a lot of prints of Ultra Rares. The more desirable print obviously is going to be the Magic Ruler. First edition Ultras, of course, those are going for a lot more, but for the longest time, this card was in abundance. And again, I'm all talking about for the remainder of all these tabs, it's all for first edition, all collector's market. There used to be several of these available. We have a single first edition here, lightly played for about 2 bones after you factor in shipping. There is 5 pages here available on the market. Here's another one for roughly around 2, lightly played. So there's a lot of onesies here and there that you kind of see, which are definitely, you can still kind of like the last of the crop to pick up on. But there's just not a lot of fat stacks. Like here's a 2 for about 2 bones. This is pretty good. And even with this being a reprint compared to the Magic Ruler Ultra Rares first editions, I still think that this is a very, very old card. And Starter Deck Pegasus first editions, anything holofoil, is just very old and it's going to hold and continue to hold really great stuff. So there's definitely a few onesie twosies here so that you guys can pluck off for some pretty good money, but after that it's going to be gone, and it's just going to continue to increase. All of these cards, once they clear out of the market, I don't see them coming back and being replenished with more affordable price points. Next is going to be even Griffin Wing. So this card is terrible. This card blows. It's literally the most situational card, probably one of the most situational cards in all of the game here. This and White Hole. It's a defense against Harpy's Feather Duster, which actually just got lifted up not too long ago off the list, which is really cool. I've been enjoying that card. I'm sure you guys have been enjoying Harpy's Feather Duster. It's really silly that we got Harpy's Feather Duster, but not Heavy Storm. I'm like, Konami really needs to bring back Heavy Storm. I can kind of understand why they're holding Giant Tornado, because there's a lot of combo orientation based around that card, but Heavy Storm needs to come back. I think it's completely ridiculous that we have Harpy's Feather Duster, but Heavy Storm is still banned, so that's kind of interesting. And this card, again, you want to go for first editions exclusively. What I want to show you with this card, even with this card being terrible, being slow, being a trap card, not having like the best artwork, but it is a super rare, and it is part of that very Gen 1, very first era of starter decks with the original anime characters from the show. I'm going to go ahead and pop over to 3 or more, because pretty much what I'm trying to show you guys here is pretty much all across the board for the first editions exclusively holofoils, be it either the 2 super rares or the 1 ultra rares from these starter decks, the original Gen 1s, they're just completely wiped off the market. You're not seeing first editions, and rightfully so. These are just screaming collector's market. They have been for years, and I consider myself very, very fortunate to pick up on these early enough. The first 3 or more playset for a 4-stack here from Game Cafe is about a half a bone, and there's $3, 3 bones for shipping here, and that's the first that you find. And then on the last page, there is a set of 3 for half a bone, but the shipping is 5 bones here from Collector's Cache. So again, this is just, I really wanted to highlight this because I think it's important to push out this information and make you guys aware that the collector's market is a real thing, and it's happening, and it has been happening like right in front of our faces for several years now. Moving on to Starter Deck Joey, of course, infamous Red Eyes Black Dragon. Of course, there was the Legend of Blue Eyes, the Core 1 Gen 1 set, dying the same rarity, same artwork and all that, which is a lot more valuable than this, but still, that with that being an insanely high price tag, this players are going to kind of turn to this, and it's relatively just as old as the Legend of Blue Eyes version. It just came from a starter deck, which is still super insanely ancient and collectible, and obviously Dragoon really bolstered all the prints of Red Eyes with its combo package. The lightly played Unlimiteds are going to be roughly around 5-ish bones. Again, we want to talk about collector's content here, so we're going to go for first editions exclusively. We're going to find a first editions on the 4th page for 14 bones. The lightly played first edition here is the most affordable one on the market for TCGP for 14 bones for lightly played. And then for a near mint first edition, we're going to have to do a little bit of a deeper dig here. Continuing on, it just continues to trickle on here, even for the lightly played firsts. Let's see here. Okay, so here it looks like there's some Spanish near mint first editions for 30 bones a piece. As far as for an English first edition near mint, I'm still trying to find one. It looks like here's one. Well, apparently, you know, this seller is selling one. It's a photo, so I mean, I'm hoping it's English for about 36 bones. So completely up to you guys what you guys want to do with that. So great price points with that. Scapegoat is going to be next. So I know there's the OTS Ultimate Rares. They look great. I think we even have a secret rare version of this. I think from one of the Legendary Collections. I think it was 3 or 4 down to secret rare, which is really nice. But this has the Magic card stamp. This being the very first print of Scapegoat. Throughout the years, has always been a very infamous card through GOAT format all the way to Link format. This has seen some plethora of plays here and there. And this being the original OG artwork has a special place in the collector's market, in my personal opinion. And again, I'm just going to go over and switch to 3 ofs. Now, I'm sure in between you're going to find some onesie twosies that are first editions for some kind of weird, obscure shipping, and you know, you can't really stack your card up that way. But it's just completely gone. There is 9 bones. So 9 bones is the new market price for a 5-stack here for lightly played first editions. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then after, I mean, we can go through here and we can try to find, like, again, we'll probably find some low quantity of ones. Like, here's a 1 stack here. Here's another 1 stack. This is actually pretty good. This is about 2 bones, so this is a really good price point for this. 2 bones for lightly played first. It's unfortunately just a 1 stack. So that's kind of what I'm trying to explain here. You can't pick these up in bulk anymore. And this card used to be in just a giant abundance for so many years. And they're completely just like cleared off the market now. So definitely something really important to take note of. Again, Penguin Soldier. So this is a double compulse. I get it. It's an old school flip effect. It's slow. The artwork is kind of silly, you know. Almost kind of reminds me of like a Pokemon card or something. But it is a super rare and it's very, very old from, again, this really big collector's set. And, you know, this is, let's see here. We'll go to a 3-stack again, and this is what I'm just trying to put emphasis on. It looks like there is the first 3-stack here is for about, you know, 2.5 bones here. It's a 3-stack for lightly played. That's the first editions that we have for 3 or more. On the second page here, there is another one here for about 7 bones. There's a 9-stack with $1 shipping for first edition lightly played, and then near mints for a stack of 6 goes all the way up to 15 with a shipping of $1 there. So completely up to you guys. Again, you may find some first editions loosely, onesie twosies here, but you know, you're not going to be able to stack in bulk. So completely up to you guys on that. Dark Magician, obviously up there with the Blue Eyes, really great. You know, the biggest chasers of all these sets for collectability purposes. Surprisingly enough, even like the Unlimiteds, I thought there'd be a lot more by now, but you know, this has been a very long haul running investment for this card, and it's about 6-ish bones for lightly played Unlimiteds. Let's see if we can find a near mint. It's probably going to take a while to find a near mint because it's really difficult finding near mints because these cards are just insanely ancient. It looks like there is an English near mint here for roughly around 20 bones, and then it's the first editions, I can just tell you right now, are just going to be like ungodly expensive. I think I just skipped a page, but I was kind of trying to pull through here. So we get our first edition here on the second to last page. It's a Portuguese, so it is a foreign one for about 51 bones for a Portuguese first edition. There is a Spanish first edition here for 75 lightly played, and we are going to go to the last page to see some English ones. A lightly played first edition here is 130. It goes to 100 and over 140 plus over here. And then for near mints, these are some foreign ones. Near mints, there's the single copy of near mint for a whopping 800 bones is what it bottoms out for. So amazing artwork. Again, just one of the all-time greatest collector's cards here. Card destruction is going to be next. So again, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to 3 stacks. This card, as well as Penguin Soldier and a plethora of all the other holofoils from these Gen 1 starter decks, were just in such great abundance, and I feel like there's just been a giant resurgence of people just completely going in and copying these out. And again, like I can't say it enough. Like, this is the smart players are doing this. This is huge for the collector's market. And it's definitely a long haul investment, but it's going to be worth it in the end, in my personal opinion. And again, you notice there's no 3 or higher stacks for the first edition, so you're going to have to go in and try to find onesie twosies here for the first editions. This is an amazing card. It was banned for a long time. This got banned like right around like when Dark World came out. Dark World was really abusing this card, and pretty much when the gates of the structured deck gates of the Underworld rose to predominance, Dino Rabbit format, and that was kind of like the top tiers, Dino Rabbit and Dark World. This kind of nixed it on the list, but it came back not too long ago. It was a couple lists ago this came back, and this was a big powerhouse for, like Burning Abyss, Shadal's, Dark World, and pretty much just anyone who wants to discard and activates effects. So Zombies too. I run this in Zombies sometimes, really good in Zombies. Actually reminds me, I need to put I think I'm going to proc a copy in Zombies, because this is just a really really good card in graveyard-centric decks. Anyway, so this, again, you're going to have to kind of go through and see if you can find some, whatever's left for the first editions. I'm on halfway through the pages here, and I have not seen a single first edition. So these are just completely picked clean off the market. So really good stuff. Again, obviously being the original print and Magic card stamp here, and it's really great artwork too. Cardboard on cardboard. I have a really big thing for cardboard on cardboard artwork. Next is going to be Soul Exchange. Same kind of thing. If you switch over to the 3 or more stacks, there's just really not an abundance for the first editions. It switches over to 4 pages, and I've not seen a first edition. Let's see if we can find one on the 4th page. Not even on the 4th page. So incredible, just completely incredible. And these cards are insanely old, so that's all I can really say about that. They're just have been completely swooped up on by the collectors and the market and all that. So next is gonna be Blue Eyes White Dragon. Of course, this is actually, those actually different. The LOB versions were different artwork. I like the starter deck artworks of Dark Magician, Blue Eyes White Dragon a lot better. They are also the same artworks that were used in the Generation 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, which is, really nostalgic for kids and all that stuff. So, Lightly Played Unlimited is going to start around 23 bones. There's a Portuguese first edition here for 40 bones. Another one here. Several different Portuguese ones. There are only 3 pages here across the board for Unlimited and first edition. Near mints are, around 60 plus bones. Here's a first edition Portuguese. Trying to find you guys a first edition near mint, or a first edition. So here's a first edition English, apparently. Maybe, hopefully, for 126. Which actually kind of sounds like a pretty reasonable, if it really is near mint, it's first edition English. That sounds pretty unbelievable, actually, in my personal opinion. Here's a Spanish one, Lightly Played first edition for 151. This is some type of foreign one for 500, and then this is another Portuguese. So there isn't even a single, unless this one's like a fake, or I don't really know what's going on here. This seems way too cheap. This is really shady. There's no way that this is only 126 if it really is an English version of the starter deck Kaiba first edition near mint. But anyway, so this is completely just like unavailable on the market, and rightfully so. Next is going to be Lord of D, of course, starter deck Kaiba, the original super rares. There is, I think there's like dual terminals. There's several different prints of this. Again, this is going to be kind of redundant, but there's not stacks. There's not fat stacks of first editions. When I switch to three ofs for first editions exclusively, they're just not available. So you're going to have to go through every page and see if you guys can do, onesie twosies on the first editions. And there also is, of course, with the majority of these cards, there's Secret Rare tin promos from the Gen 1 tins, which was another part. There's kind of like a 3 trifecta to like the Gen 1 collector stuff. There's, like the original core booster sets, the original starter decks, Wave 1 and 2, and the original Wave 1 and 2 of the collectible tins, which was, they were the first ofs. They were the first ofs of the first ofs. They were the first of their kind. Really great stuff. So that's right here. But besides that, they're really, the starter deck Kaiba First Edition Supers are really going to be your best bet, as opposed to, of course, the other competition is going to be the tin promo secret rare. The Flute of Summoning Dragon is going to be next as the other second super rare from Starter Deck Kaiba. This as well, I'm not even going to switch over because it's the same thing. You switch over to 3, there's just not really, there isn't any 3 stacks of first editions available, lightly played or near mint. So we're just going to, because it's the last card, I'm just going to go here and just kind of go through each one and see if there is even a first edition copy available here on the market. Surprisingly, this as well, not really so surprisingly here in 2021 now, these cards are just insanely ancient. But you can just see, the proof is in the pudding. There is no first editions here on the market. This has just completely been wiped out. Going to page 11, 12. Okay, so we get our first edition for 14 bones, and that's even for lightly played. There's 13 pages on here, so the last 3 pages we start to trickle in the first editions, and they just are very, they're expensive for what this card is. I mean, you would not expect this card to be, a $14, $15, $13 card now, but it is because it's insanely old and the collector's market. Like, what more can I say? That is all that I have for you guys tonight. Link below is going to be to my Facebook. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been part of my life for almost 2 decades. I love this game so much. I love the deck building, the creativity, the friendships, the brotherhood, the dueling, the investments. There's so many amazing things that this Yu-Gi-Oh! Hobby has to bring to the table. I think it's really important to invest time and get some good, positive, rich energy out of hobbies that you care about and that really influence your life positively. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching these videos with me and seeing this content. I hope you guys are making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh! Investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by The White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.